You know that expression, good things come in small packages? Well, that's exactly the phrase I would use to describe Alexander Payne's new film, Downsizing, the film about humanity going small by shrinking itself in order to save the planet. It's got some great ideas and it verges on greatness, but once you've opened the package, all you'll find inside is something good, but not quite great. Hey up guys, so today I'm going to be talking about Downsizing, the latest film from Alexander Payne, who is well known for doing films like Sideways and The Descendants. I saw Downsizing at the London Film Festival and it was definitely one of my most anticipated films on my list. Payne's film is so incredibly charming, whimsical, and pretty to look at, but it also has an important environmental message at its core. So it's kind of like a Pixar movie, but for grown-ups. So Downsizing takes place in the near future, and science has taken a massive step forward because Norwegian scientists have found a way to shrink humans down to 5 inches tall. So after humans have been shrunk, it exponentially reduces their carbon footprint and helps save the planet. Gonna hit you with some science now. This cellular miniaturization process is commonly known as downsizing, and once a participant goes through with this irreversible procedure, all of their assets increase dramatically in value, so a lot of people go through with downsizing in order to live a life of luxury, just at a smaller aspect ratio. This brings us to Paul and Audrey Safranek, played by Matt Damon and Kristen Wiig, a married couple who decide to downsize and live out the rest of their lives in Leisureland, a teeny tiny, almost utopian metropolis for all those that have gone small. The film mainly focuses on Paul, and he discovers that when it comes to your problems, size really doesn't matter. After the procedure is done with, he finds himself having an existential crisis because he is kind of without purpose, and it's only when he meets a famous Vietnamese refugee/humanitarian called Ngoc Lang Tran, who's played by Chau, that his perspective on the world starts to alter. Guys, there's a lot of fun to be had watching Downsizing. It's one of those unique concepts for a film which is quite playful and fun to explore. Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or Ant-Man, it's cool to see how they make things look really big or really small depending on which way you look at it. And there's also lots of really humorous sight gags which just make you smile or gawk. What's frustrating is that co-writers Alexander Payne and Jim Taylor do try and make this film more than just a visual spectacle. They really go to lengths to mention how something like downsizing would change the way we look at the world. What would it mean for us environmentally, ethically, politically, socially? But the problem is they only really brush the surface. They never really excavate any of these ideas. It's almost like the concept for this film opened up so many options and ideas that Payne and Taylor didn't think to hone any focus down on any particular aspect. Instead, this is basically a vehicle for Matt Damon to play an everyman who's having an existential crisis in a world where he's the size of a Barbie doll. It does touch upon issues such as the rich-poor divide, racial disparity, healthcare, and white privilege, so it does feel relevant to today's social climate, particularly in a post-President Trump America. But these elements are only glanced at, so it feels almost glib in its message. The performances are still excellent here. Matt Damon is doing great work with this and Suburbicon to wash out the awful aftertaste of The Great Wall. Christoph Waltz is clearly having fun as the eccentric, shrunken playboy neighbor of Paul's, Damon. It's a chewy performance, but it's still fun regardless. But the standout of this film is by far and away Chau, who plays the no-nonsense Ngoc Lang. She comes across a bit forceful and blunt, but she's bossy for noble causes, and she always puts others ahead of herself. She was downsized by the Vietnamese government against her will, so she's the only character that really sees Leisureland for what it really is, just a smaller version of the world, full of poverty, corruption, terrorism, and loneliness. Like she says, everybody's got pain, so she brings a sense of levity to this film. Chau is sensational here. She should definitely be looking at a Best Supporting Actress nomination for her work here. Her 8 different types of fuck speech is both hilarious and heartbreaking, and she also gets this really brilliant scene where she invites herself on this trip to Norway with Paul and Damon. It's just so touching and hilarious to see her weeping these big tears of joy, and then it cuts back to Matt Damon and Christoph Waltz, and the look on their faces is just, well, we have to invite her now. So to sum up guys, Downsizing is like the cinematic equivalent of seeing the Grand Canyon for the first time. It's beautiful, awe-inspiring, and it takes your breath away. It's got plenty to be amused by, particularly Hong Chau's performance and loads of sight gags, but what keeps this film from greatness is that it doesn't really have anything profound to say. It acknowledges some really interesting ideas and topics, but doesn't explore any of them in any real sense of depth. But I was still very entertained by Downsizing, even if it fails to see the bigger picture. So guys, I'm gonna give Downsizing an 8.5 out of 10. And my quick question for you today, guys, is what is your favorite film with really small characters or really big characters? Whatever you think, you can let me know in the comment section below, or you can catch me here on Twitter. And guys, if you do like these videos, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button for me, okay? Thanks so much for watching, guys. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Airfield, and I'll see you next time.